Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of TCS Student News, and what will hopefully play out to be an amazing school year. I'm your host, Aidan.
And I'm your host, Salma. Let's get right into the news.
Juul Labs, an e-cigarette company, has violated federal regulations by selling its vaping products as a safe alternative to traditional tobacco cigarettes without the approval of the FDA. The Food and Drug Administration issued its warning during a public health crisis because over more than 400 cases of vaping-related lung illnesses have hospitalized some young teenagers and adults. Juul is trying so hard to lie to children and to keep their business going, even though they clearly know that it is dangerous for their health. A Juul representative even went and spoke at a school presentation and told students that Juul was, quote, much safer than cigarettes, and that Juul was totally safe. And this is playing out to be a complete lie.
Long-term exposure to air pollution is like smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for many years and can lead to emphysema, a lung condition that causes shortness of breath. Ground-level ozone is the most effective. It contains fine particle matter, nitrogen oxide, and black carbon. A study looked at more than 7,000 adults ages 45 to 84 for over a decade in 6 U.S. metropolitan areas. Using a CT scan, researchers were able to see that exposure to each of the pollutants was connected with the development of emphysema and is usually connected with cigarette smoking. The strongest association between a pollutant and emphysema was seen with exposure to ozone, which was the only pollutant associated with additional decline in lung function. Earlier studies predicted exposure to ground-level ozone concentration could lead to millions more acute respiratory problems and would cost the United States billions of dollars.
That was a fascinating story, Salma. But now I think it's time for the moment that we all have been waiting for, TCS News. First up, we would like to welcome all new students to another amazing school year. We have 8 new freshmen: Jayla, Maikwan, Hope, Faith, Ethan, Manuel, Leonie, and Keith. We also have 2 students that joined the freshman class, Joshua and Kiesha. I'm sure that you all, with help from the returning students, will make this year the best one the community school has ever had.
Next up, we also added a new staff to the school. Her name is Ms. Rebecca. She is teaching the science classes this year. She has been involved with the school before she was a teacher here. She used to be a work-study student at the school. She makes her classes fun, but at the same time educational. I am very much enjoying her class. Thank you for being a part of the school.
On the first Friday of school, we had a conversation with the Board of Trustees. The board consists of Mr. Ed, Ryan, Justin, Stacy, and Mr. Dave. They all talked about the policies around the school, their daily lives, and other things that they do around the school, and what their job importance is. Also, how they go about resolving conflicts or issues around the school.
This is going to be the last broadcast that we are going to be filming in this room. We had help during the summer to build a recording studio. We want to thank Mr. Ed and his crew, which include his 2 brothers, Mr. Kenny and Mr. Timmy, and his son, Michael. Garrett, Claude, and Jacob also helped out. Thank you everyone who made this possible.
We would also like to say thank you to all the people who donated lunches. We would like to thank Miss Gail for the chicken and chicken salad, Miss Janae for the tacos, the Board of Trustees for the sandwiches and salads, Miss Carol for spaghetti, and Miss Peg for the turkey sandwiches, and Miss Gina for ravioli and garlic bread. Thank you all for donating lunches.
There were lots of people whose birthdays were over the summer. We want to wish Garrett, Faith, Hope, Jacob, Destiny, Ronan, Maikwan, Jayla, and Olivia a happy belated birthday. We celebrated Aidan's birthday on the first day of school. We also celebrated Keith's birthday. Hope you guys had a wonderful birthday.
We would also like to say thank you to Mr. Eduardo for agreeing to teach us for yet another year of physical education. Those of you who may not know, Mr. Eduardo teaches us PE out of the goodness of his heart every Wednesday. He does it as a volunteer and doesn't ask for anything in return. Thank you so much for a wonderful gym class. You are amazing.
I am really looking forward to how this year will play out.
Well, everybody, that wraps up this week's edition of TCS Student News. I'm your host, Aidan.
And I'm your host, Salma.
We hope you join back for next week for another edition of TCS Student News.